Hello and welcome to another session with the Elevator One of Sports. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. It's been quite a while. Yes, it's been feeling like ages since I since I did this because Mikolo also always been there now to step up anytime I'm not around. And it's a beautiful sight to behold, and I'm glad people out there, the viewers, are loving it. Irrespective of who is sitting down here hosting the show, but as always, good to be back. And once again, I have Edafe Matthew Eselgene with me. For our Muslim faithfuls, we hope you had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful end to your fast, wonderful Ramadan to cap things off. We're just coming off the back of a public holiday, so it was a long weekend for those working and all that. So yeah, let's start the show with our very first talking point. You just before we came on air, you wanted us to talk about this, and I was just going some quick research online. I saw that Lewandowski is worried about the next generation of footballers. But talking about that and the next generation of footballers, let me just take this away from football a little bit. As you stand, you're an employer of labor. So looking at the whole thing now, Gen Zs now, you work with a couple of Gen Zs now in your team. Lot. So when you look at the Gen Zs now and your generation, who's easier to work with? Who would you say, okay, it's easier working with this set of people than look back at your generation and tell us what it is like. How can you compare, in terms of being an employer of labor?
Gen Z, almost all Gen Z are born with anger. They were born by frustrated parents who raised them through that frustration. But then with like a broad spectrum of information in front of them. So they argue with information, statistics, and data. Sometimes there is an information overload that also causes abuse. Like they say water is good for the body, but too much of water can kill you, right? The older generation, my generation, we were not born with a lot of information. We seek information. So there is a narrow group of people of my generation that have information. So we were the generation of the yes sir, yes ma kind of people. Slap resetting your brain. You are told to do something, you can't argue because first off, you don't even have the basis to argue. You don't have something to argue with. Because an argument should be that I have a superior opinion or superior view or superior angle to this conversation. But in my generation, you don't have that. We're the generation that waited for television. Television come up in the evening. We're the generation that TV goes off. We didn't have phone. We're the first set of people that use phones, mobile phones. The first set of people to use internet. We're the first set of people. We usher in this and we're the guinea pigs of it. But then the Gen Zs and maybe some part of the Millenials are people who they came on board and they grew into this. They could manipulate smartphones way more than you think. You have your smartphone, put it in the hands of your kids. They will bring app and bring things on your phone that you don't know existed on your phone. But let's talk about the workplace. Let's narrow it down to the workplace. I started working pretty early. Like officially, I'm not talking of hustling on the street. I started working pretty early. I signed up for football club as a teenager. But beyond that, when I left football, I've always worked. I've always worked. I worked in Escravos. I worked in Globestar, and in different places as well. Worked outside of the country while, schooling and the rest. Now, one of the things that I've come to realize is that, that saying that a man is a product of his environment. Our timidity, our fear, our cautiousness is based on how we were raised. And then we are the parents that were not too many of this generation parents who slap our children for anything, who, every little thing resort to beating. We dialogue, we discuss, we hear our children out. I pay my children salary, for instance, right? They earn salary. I'm not talking the money that I put in their own account. That's a different. For working, they earn weekly wages. And why am I doing that? I'm structuring their mind to the world they will live in. They should know. And that wages that they earn is broken into three parts. One part of it is spend as you like. Now you work for this money. Now you earn them. Waste it if you want to. The second one, you must save it. So if weekly wage is 5,000, right? But then there are bonuses. There are certain things you do that, but your basic is 5,000. Now, that 5,000 every week, 1,000 naira is your money. I don't question if you take that 1,000 naira and say you want to eat anything. For as long as you're not going to eat poison, it's fine. Another 2,000 out of that money, for instance, 2,000 not for instance, 2,000 factually goes into a savings. You must save that one. But I'm not asking them to put it in the bank because I want them to be able to count it at the end of the year and know, okay, this is the money that I save. Then another one again goes into another savings, which is like your investment money. So one saving is for your investment, one you're saving to be able to, at the end of the year, say, I have 1, 2, or 3 friends that I want to do something for. I want to, maybe it's next year's Mother's Day or next year's Father's Day or somebody, but it doesn't have to be somebody inside the house. It has to be somebody outside that I want to buy a gift for, I want to do something for. One, I'm teaching them how to save money. I'm teaching them a culture of investment. I'm teaching them a culture of, and don't forget, that money that they save, the one that they save, whatever it amounts to at the end of the year. So let's say they save 1 million, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the year. I'm obligated to put half of that money, add half of that money to it. So if they save 1 million, I'm going to give them 500,000 each person, 500,000, which is 1.5, right? I don't think that me and my mom had that kind of conversation, or me and my stepdad had that kind of conversation. It's not there. That's one. Now let's come to the workplace. The workplace, we worked under the baby boomer generation, the older generation than us, who lived in a society where their word is law. If they say something, you have to follow. You have to, is the leader servant, master servant relationship that existed. You can't even question your boss. The system whereby if you're working shift, for instance, and your boss is around, you can't go home. You know, I experienced it in Brilla FM. When I was working in Brilla, I saw it happen.
How can you leave before your
so
boss?
So it made a lot of people do eye service. I was practically the only person who would be going out and the boss is coming in. I wave him, oh, good morning, sir, and I'm gone. Every other person would be telling you, oh, I want to finish, let me be going. I want to go do something in the bank, or I want to go to my child's school. But once the boss is driving in, they are all going to stay. And sometimes you call them by 8 p.m. in the evening, they are still in the office. I didn't do that. Because I was coming from football. Don't forget that, like I said, the man is a product of his environment. Football trained me to know that you can't work more than 2, 3, 4 hours. Now I cannot stay for offshore work. I didn't like the fact that I had to work 12 hours, sometimes all hands on deck. I know it was good money, but I didn't see the future in it. Again, football had corrupted my mind. Now, in that workplace, I work with quite a lot of people who had a lot to say. And that's, to me, is what destroyed company culture. Who had a lot to say, but they couldn't say it. They won't say it in the meetings. They won't say it in the open, but behind the scene. You know, like this court case that they are dealing with now, we knew it was coming. Some of us who were there knew this guy not thief. When they trust her with opportunities, now I know. But hey, we couldn't voice it because you voice it, you might become a victim. Gen Z, on the other hand, agree that Gen Z, a large portion of Gen Z are lazy. They want what they are not working for. But when we rub them with that brush,
it's a large portion. Can you put it in a scale
percentage?
If I put
it in a scale, it's like 80% of Gen Zs. 80% of Gen Z are very, very lazy. You see society now, you see the way it is, are very lazy. Let me give you a very good example. Let's take it away from the workplace. Let me give you a very good example. In my day, back in my day, and I'm still here, but back in my day, if you tell somebody that I'm coming to your place 2 o'clock, you're going to be there 2 o'clock. There's no mobile phone. There is nothing to say, do a video and show me where you are. There is there's never been so much lack of trust like we have today. Because Gen Zs, first off, they lie more than any other generation. They want what they have not worked for. You know, they don't want to give what is Caesar to Caesar. But that's one half of the truth. There's the other half of the truth. They are smarter than any other generation before them. They are faster. And this is crazy. How do you say it's very oxymoronic or ironic in the way it is? Because you can't say somebody is lazy and you say they are faster.
Yeah.
The ones that are willing to work are faster in the way they process information, in the way they think, in the way they move, the way they want to get things done. Who would I rather have working for me? Gen Z all day long. I would rather have Gen Z working for me because you can be now you can be a very dull person, a very dull person, have a little bit of money and be honest enough. Gen Z would turn that your money into something. They would work the work that would take you there. The older generation, they are push and start. You need to tell them everything needs to be told in details. No, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. This is when you should do it. This is why you should do it. No, Gen Z's, just give them the brief. Just give them a little brief. They would turn it into something. So you cannot delegate responsibility without fully getting yourself involved. If you look at the one reason why Nigerian companies are not transgenerational, meaning that most companies, once the owner dies, the company dies. If I ask you, where is Abiola's businesses? Almost all of them cannot be found. But if you are as rich as Abiola, your business should not die with you. No matter all the political, challenges that happen, your business should not die with you. Your business should still carry on. I agree that the economic territory of Nigeria is terrible, but man, that's a very, very high level person. I don't think that if Lamba Shagori dies today, his business will die. Because he comes from a different culture. The guy that is responsible for doing this Coastal Road and many other waterfront businesses. My point is, we in this climate, we build a system where that is almost impossible to happen. So I think that for me, I would take the Gen Zs, and I don't say Pepe for Gen Z. And I work with Alison, I work with Joy, I work with Adasa, I work with Tasha. Tasha has written over how many books? There are people of my generation who cannot even write a book. I don't have a book written. I know how many people has been pushing me, write a book. China Chiru, a lot of people, but they're good to you. I don't think I can, because I'm always calculating, would I sell 1 million copies? If I cannot sell 1 million copies, I'm not going to write a book. But Gen Z will do it. They don't care whether they sell one or they use all of them as giveaway. They have the can do, the very daring mind. It's just that when you put them in the workplace, they only want to do it in their own way, at their own time, at their own pace, and their own system. Is it 100% good? I don't know. So with Gen Z, you need to be able to show leadership in a mentorship way. With my generation, you just apply force. You apply force, you threaten people, you blackmail people, and they will do your biddings. Gen Z are not like that. They will question you. Why do you think I should do that? A Gen Z will come to work and tell you I'm on my period and I'm not going to do anything, and there's nothing you can do. If you talk too much, you go social media and drag you. And there are people like her that would join in the dragging. Before you explain yourself, they don't drag you into bush. Yeah. Right? They don't devour you. My generation, we can't. I mean, the way I left Brilla, I'm supposed to set camera and really do better dragging. But I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't in that culture. If that happened to any Gen Z, the dragging would die. You spend 4 hours of a meeting, but we're not raised like that. But to me, if you ask me, I think I like the Gen Zs that I've worked with. Joy, Mikolo, Timothy Deimbo, Felix, yourself. I've been privileged. I've been privileged to have the best, the 20% of the good ones. I've also seen a few bad ones, but I've had 20% of the good ones, because if you still go back to the Annies, the Precious, people believe in a dream that does not even exist. You understand me? You have to give them credit. The Bukunye, the Dumebis, and Richard, Pablo now. You remember Pablo? Yeah. Section with Pablo, and all the behind the scene people that we work with. I think that I've been privileged to have some. And I've always brag and say this. It was because everywhere I have worked, I've given loyalty that nobody else can give. There's not one person that I've worked for that can say Edafe did not put his best to the work. You know what it means to work 13 years in an organization and you never come late one day? Like one day, there's no one day you don't take excuse, you don't miss work. There must be, you must have something in you. I did that in Brilla. I worked in Globestar for years. No query, no question. Play football. I didn't have issues until I got injured. So I coached it. So if you look at that, I managed the team and I didn't have any problem. I'm not one of those guys who are I could fight for what is right, but I'm not one of those who give problem to the people that I work for. So I'm not surprised that in return, I'm also having that. Like a lot of people who work for me are just loyal. I don't even know why if I deserve it, but I think it's because I've done it before for other people, and then it's happening to me. But I think I'll take Gen Z more than the other generation. Again, the thing that I don't like in the workplace is when people, there's something called them and us. Gen Zs don't do that. Them and us is when if you listen to people, you ask them something like, "Oh, but I work now in a company." They say, "Well, that company they did them did it," and you're part of the company. Those kind of language is what destroy the culture of a company. There is the older generation always do that. You will see them badmouthing their company to strangers where you're working. But Gen Z is no, they hold firm. They believe, and I think that Gen Z believe in Nigeria more than the older generation. It's strange I'm saying this, but when you look at Gen Z, if you hang out with a Gen Z believe in this country more than the older generation. It's just that the older generation are working so hard to force Gen Z not to believe in the country.
Interesting one. I know we have players of labels who will be watching this in the comments. You can tell us, your experience working with the Gen Z.
If you want to comment, comment your experience. Now, my own experience, I talk.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I had to put it out there.
The funny thing is, this is the only place where you will say your own. Like when you say we pick our 11
I saw your back and forth.
What is wrong with dumb people? This is my 11. I didn't put Amokachi in that squad. I didn't put Sasa, my guy, in that squad. You're carrying about in 1994. Kocha was shit, but everybody you just no. Comment your own. Put your own. Somebody out there might have terrible experience with Gen Z, but I've had good experience with Gen Z.
Yeah,
people. Almost everybody who's worked with us and has left here still relate with me, still come to my house, still call me, tell me what's going on. That's a very good relationship, right? I don't know many people who can talk to their ex-bosses. So if you have a bad experience, your position is right. But don't force me to not say I should agree with you because you have bad experience. Oh, I should also have bad experience. No. Like you love this player. Oh, everybody must love the player with you. Not lie you.
All right, so just drop a comment, tell us what you think, and we will definitely do well to respond as we can. I like the way you always respond. If you can't respond, you like comments and you reply to.
No, I like to respond to people. So, yeah, I don't really
like to see that.
Somebody even asked me.
So you feel among
if you get up to 1 million subscribers, will you still be? I will try my best to respond to people. I think that
it feels like a sense of.
I think that a lot of people don't understand why I do that, and I don't want to get to that place before I start doing it. So because you don't reach this level. Now, even if you have one comment, if your comment requires me responding, I go even respond. But that like and put a heart on it, I would always do it because. Let me give you a good example. I've seen people throw shades like, "Oh, your channel is not growing. This your bad character that's making your channel not to grow." If a church have 20,000 plus members, they'll call that church a mega church. If a private school have 20,000 plus students, they'll call it a big school. They use the word international school. A YouTube channel have 24,000 plus, and you say it's not growing, and then you're not adding the extras. We've been to All African Games, we've been to WAFCON, we've been to the AFCON, and we're not just going with 1 or 2 persons, but you say we're not making progress. What is your definition of progress? And then that same person will tell you, peer pressure. You go and check them in their posts. They'll tell you, don't yield to peer pressure. You're pressuring me that 20,000 plus subscribers is not progress. I've not come to ask you for food. I've not come to beg you to eat. Even if I'm struggling, I have my friends that through doing this work I have made that I can reach out to. And you think I'm not making progress. But then, when politicians steal money to show you how they have made progress, you not get angry that what a country we live in. I don't understand what that is. But naturally, I think I would always respond to people. I know a lot of people who do YouTube like me to tell me, if you get time, you'd always reply people.
Yeah.
I said, it's a community. That's what YouTube calls it. It's a community. People in community needs to have a conversation. I shouldn't be too big to, I've done the video, they want to comment, make a comment, they don't want to comment, and they know. I don't think, if I am following people's channel, I don't think if I comment on your channel like maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and you're not giving me response, you're not doing anything, especially when I ask questions, I don't move on from your channel because I think that it is disrespectful. You have time to upload content. You should also have time to respond to one or two persons. That's the way I think about it.
All right, keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. Keep the like coming. We appreciate each and every one of our over 20K subscribers on the channel.